Problem number 2. An object is launched from the ground. The height ht in feet of an object as it travels above the ground is given by the formula h of t, that's the height, is equal to negative 16t squared plus 64t plus 190, where t is the time in seconds. So we say h of t is our height and t will be the time in seconds. Our question: first, we find the time it takes the object to strike the ground. And the second question, we determine the maximum height of the object. Now here, based on the illustration, let's have the first one. What will be the height of the object if it's on the ground? The height will be 0. So in number 2, we are talking about the maximum height. The parabola opens downwards when you will kick a ball. So the maximum height will be the same as our vertex HK. Now let's start solving for the first one. We find the time. T is missing. It takes for the object to strike the ground. So let's replace. We say our h of t, the height, will be 0. So let's substitute 0 to the value of ht. Now we'll have, I'll copy first the function for the height. So 0 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 64t plus 190. Now here's our formula. How do we solve for the value of t? We go back to our lesson on roots. We are looking for the roots of the equation. So we can use the quadratic formula to solve for this. Our A is negative 16, our B is 64, and our C is 190. So let's solve for T. Actually, T is the same as X. Negative B plus and minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Let's solve. Negative 64 plus and minus 64 squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A, negative 16. You can use your calculator to solve for this one. And you'll end with negative 64 plus and minus 127.50 all over negative 32. If we'll have...
Ma'am.
Yes, AP?
How did it become 127.55?
Here, let me solve the one inside the square root. 64 squared is 4,096. Negative 4 times negative 16 times positive 190 is 12,160. Now the one inside, if you add them, 6, will be 16,256. We are now getting bigger, so you can use your calculators to solve for the square root of 16,256. The answer will be 127.50. Any other questions, AP? Okay, now? Now, if you'll take case 1, you'll take positive, right? Now, ma'am, do I need to solve for case number 2? If that will be negative and negative, yes, possible, because you still divide it by a negative number. So the answer will be positive. So now, let me transfer to this area, please. For case 1, we will have negative 64 plus 127.50, divided by negative 32. So if you solve for case 1, your answer will be a negative number, negative 1.98 seconds. If you solve for case number 2, the negative and negative divided by negative, the answer will be 5.98 seconds. Remember that we are talking of time, so we could not have a negative value for time. So the only possible answer is 5.98 seconds. So we say that after 5.98 seconds, the ball will hit the ground, or the object will hit the ground. Ma'am, what if after solving the value of my t is 0? What does t equals 0 mean? It means that the ball or the object is only launched from the ground at the start, and it will never reach the ground again. But here, like you have two numbers, then you can have two possible options. Let's go to the next part of the problem. We are asked to determine the maximum height. Remember, the maximum height of the object is called our vertex. So let's start again. Our A is negative 16, our B is 64, our C is 190. We are talking about the maximum height. So we need to solve for our vertex. Now, you might ask me, ma'am, can I only solve for H or for K alone? Yes, no problem. If this is X and Y, X will be your time and Y will be your maximum height. So it's okay to solve for K alone, no problem. But for me to show it, I'll solve H and K. Let's start solving. For H, that's negative B over 2A. And for K, that's 4AC minus B squared over 4A. Let's solve. We have negative 64 over 2 times negative 16. For our K, we have 4, negative 16 for A. For C, 190 minus 64 squared. All over 4A. We have negative 64. 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. So the answer will be 2 for H. How about for K? We have negative 12,160, the first 3, minus 64 squared, 4,096. All over 4 times negative 16. We will be left with the answer 254. Now, what does our vertex tell us about our maximum? This is the maximum, right? Remember, our H is 2. That is our X, right? Our Y, which is our K, is 254. Now, what does our X or our T mean? Say, this is the maximum time. How about our K? K is our Y. This is our maximum height. So we say after 2 seconds, our ball or the object will have its maximum height. And its maximum height is 254 feet. But if the question is, after how many seconds will the object reach its maximum height? Then the answer will be 2. After 2 seconds, the ball or the object will reach its maximum height, 254 feet. Now, any questions?